Judging by the number of views of our 2021 Renegade 1000 test, there are a number of people infatuated, looking to own, or interested in more information on the GNCC 4x4 class dominating machine. Subscribe for our upcoming test of the 24 model to check out the latest updates. For Renegade or Outlander owners looking to see what goes into building the ultimate machine for racing or the trail, or those simply interested in seeing what goes into building a championship-winning Pro 4x4 machine, you need look no further than the #1 plate-carrying Gold Digger Renegade 1000, belonging to two-time national Pro 4x4 champion Cody Collier.
And your 4x4 Pro podium here for the
Already hard at work defending the #1 plate for 2024, we caught up with Cody Collier at his private practice track in Central Ohio to find out what goes into his championship-winning machine.
Hey everybody, I'm Cody Collier, your two-time and defending GNCC 4x4 Pro Champion. We're here today with ATV On Demand to take a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to build one of these machines. We're going to start with the motors, what we've done to make these things run as strong as they do. We're going to start with the ECUs on these bad boys. B&R Motorsports is a great tune for us. We pretty much just work on the temperature ratings for these things. So we have the fan kick on at a lower rating, so it starts cooling sooner, and then we raise the limp mode setting so it takes it longer to get into limp mode, just tries to keep it away from hitting that limp mode. We also make the quad runner a little bit leaner to help with the fuel consumption, so it gets better fuel mileage, so we don't have to pit for as much fuel for our race. And then as far as the internals of the motors go, we do nothing as far as splitting the cases. The only thing we do internally to these motors is we change the secondary clutching. Again, that's from B&R Motorsports. They make a custom Maverick secondary clutch for these machines that help the longevity of the belt so I don't burn through them as quickly.
B&R Motorsports tells us that their ECU flash does also have a mild increase in performance.
And then on the externals of the motor, we got a full system ceramic solid blackout edition, dual system HMFs. It adds horsepower, helps keep that motor cool, and they sound really good.
The Renegade 1000's electronic throttle possesses work, normal, and sport modes. Cody tells us he runs sport mode at all times for maximum performance.
The last thing we do for this motor and powertrain package is that we weld the pinion bolts inside of the differential closed so that they can't back out. Now we've got the motor package all figured out. Let's talk about what the important part of this, beefing up this chassis, making this thing a tank. The first thing we do this thing is we strip it down to the bare frame. B&R Motorsports makes a great gusset package, and that's what I use on all my machines. From there, we slap a really nice KMK off-road skid plate on this bad boy. We've got a Checo Racing bulldozer front bumper with the attachment for him. And from there, we got the Checo Racing water pump guard down low, and the B&R fender brackets, the Checo Racing fender braces, the B&R Motorsports differential guards, as well as this Checo Racing intrusion bar.
Cody explains that the Checo Racing intrusion bar has more to do with defending his machine against fellow competitors than accidents on the racetrack. B&R Motorsports rear differential guards tie on the upper and lower frame rails, adding strength to the frame and reducing the use of the rear differential as a stressed member of the chassis.
And the last piece we have of the chassis here is this Checo Racing steering stem brace. These things are notorious for when you're rolling over, just folding the steering stems. I actually got to test this thing out 2 weeks ago and it held up just fine. Moving on from the chassis, we're going to move on to the suspension components up here. First off, we could move on to the Texera Tech lower A-arms. They have caster camber adjustment, way beefier than stock, and they add ground clearance, which is very important in cross-country racing.
The front end is set up with a 1/2 inch of camber, stock caster settings, and 1/4 inch of toe end to maximize steering accuracy and stability.
We run stock uppers, but we do have a KMK off-road gusset kit for those to beefing those up as well. And of course, custom Axis Racing shocks, can't do it without these guys. I run a triple rate setup. and Micah and the boys at Axis have these things dialed.
The Axis shocks never emitted the harsh metal-to-metal clank that we've heard with the stock shocks on abrupt G-outs, yet they still seem more compliant over smaller bumps.
I've been nothing but happy with the Axis product over the years. Since moving to the 4x4, I had one shock setting for my first 3.5 seasons. Absolutely loved it with that dual rate. Figured out what we needed to work on and improve. We've moved on to these triple rates. When I come into a corner and I toss this thing into a corner, the problem I was running into with the dual rate shocks was I would use up all of that primary spring, get into that secondary, and instead of there being more body roll, the quad would tip up on its side instead. So what we figured out with these triple rates is it allows a more progressive movement throughout the shock instead of into the dirt.
Cody runs garage products, bushings, and bearings in key areas, resulting in a chassis that's free of play, squeaks, or rattles.
And as far as the rest of this front end goes, believe it or not, we run a lot of OEM product. You know, it's very reliable, bulky, solid stuff. There's nothing wrong with it, so don't change it, right? So we got OEM hubs, spindles, axle, differential, drive shaft, the tie rod ends, the pitman arm. About everything in this front end is OEM. The couple of things we do change, we do have the BNR aftermarket tie rod itself, just again to beefing it up, something a little beefier. And then the J-Parts steering stem bushing, we find them to have last a little longer, work a little better for us. And then for our tire and wheel package here, got nothing but the best right here. We got the Kenda Bear Claw HTRs, the 25x8x12s. I absolutely love these tires. Take a really close look at them. They're one of the only tires within the market with a center groove on them. So for me, when I'm going across a really hard packed corner, just a corner with no rut in it, I experienced a lot of side slide with these machines. So the center groove prevents that a whole lot, and I've never had an issue with forward bite on these. And right here, our wheel package. I think I have broken every other brand style of rim you can make for these 4x4s. These Raccoon Racing product, 3/4 inch billet wheels, tough as nails, and I have yet to have an issue with them. Everything on this wheel is replaceable. It's a 3-piece wheel, and even the valve cores are replaceable on these. And then as far as, you know, have to run the flat proof system, we run a foam flat proof system. And then just basic tire pressures. Everyone's a little different. I know people that like to run above plus 10 pounds in these tires. What I really prefer on these is I like to run 7 pounds in the front and 6 in the rear. It gives me a really balanced feel, but a little bit more rear bite. That way, I want to stand up this front end, I can, but it's still very balanced. I'll go as high as 9 and 8 if it's really, really hard packed, but I've run as low as 2 and 2 when I need to, just get that bite. And then up here, up top, we got our controls. So I have my controls very flat. I want my brake and both my brakes here on this quad to be totally flush, and I like a little bit of upward roll on my throttle. So that way when I'm in rider position, got my elbows up, the throttle is still really easy to hit. I've got these flex bars, super smooth, take some of that impact from you. And then we also got this key relocation kit. I've had issues in the past where the key used to be mounted, having it tore out or run over or what have you, but Mr. Mike Seegers at KMK has made this relocation kit, not for sale yet, but the boys at Checo Racing are working with him on another one. And then just personal preference type thing on the grips. I got fat hands, so I like fat grips. I know some people with little hands that like little grips, so that's just me. And moving back to the seat, there's nothing else I'd rather have grip my butt than Quad Tech. I got the rib seat with the gripper sides. I like the ribs because I can kind of feel where I'm at through, you know, as I catch each one, I know about where I'm at on the bike. And then all the way down here, got our beautiful gold Raccoon Racing Products foot pegs. Sturdier and have a lot better bite than OEM. And then what I believe to be the most important part of any four-wheeler build, the graphics. The boys and girls over at Elite Graphics, I cannot thank them enough. Matt and Tanya Worf, great family, great people, just fabulous product. I mean, look at this thing. And rounding out this look, I can't thank Eric at FM Powder enough. Got this thing looking gorgeous. The color match was beautiful all the way through. It looks as good as it's lasting, and got this bike fit for a champ. Hey guys, obviously we're dirty. We've been out riding, putting in laps, getting some footage for you guys. But while we're out there riding, we realized one crucial part of this four-wheeler we got to mention, and that's just the braking system. One thing anyone can do to improve the braking system off the showroom floor is get you a set of DP brakes pads. We split these brakes. Just for me, I like to have an independent braking system. If I have my brakes go out and it's all on one system, all of my brakes have now failed. So the peace of mind it brings me to know I have a backup set of braking, whether the front or rear fails, brings me peace of mind. And then on top of that, I have 4 sets of calipers now. Obviously more calipers are better. And then with the foot and the brake lever being connected, I can put a lot of foot pressure in and then kind of control that pressure with my hands. How you gonna go fast if you can't see? Well, I wouldn't know. I've been running 9.2 goggles the last 2 years, got my 2 championships with them as we work on the 3P. Hey guys, thanks for coming out and riding with us today. Checking out my championship built Renegade 1000s. If you guys are looking for a way to improve your machine, look no further. This is the winning combination. You know, check me out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Collier 201, and hope to see you guys at the races.